All right, guys. So we're going to get started up. So first question that we had, let me go over to our sheet. But first question is, if I'm feeling super sore one day, is it okay for me to continue working out? The exact question was, I wanted to know if it's safe for someone who's feeling extra sore and uncomfortably stiff the next day to, or after a training session, to come in and train again when they feel that way. And then as a follow-up question, is there any way to mitigate or reduce some of that soreness and stiffness? So I think that, you probably heard me say it in the gym, but I think motion is lotion. I think that getting movement in is always going to make your body feel better after you do it, as long as you do it in a smart way. So if you're feeling sore, you don't want to come in with the expectation to set new personal records, lift the heaviest weights that you have in the past. But I do think it's good to go through the movement patterns and allow your body to get some blood flow and movement in. My general rule of thumb is I try not to work out more than 3 days in a row. So I do think recovery is really important. But if you have an off week to where you might be busy towards the end of the week and you have to front load Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday with workouts, I do think that it's okay to do up to 3 days in a row as long as you go about it smart. So for example, if you come in on day one and we do something, just throwing a random example out there, like a landmine row. We did an upper body pull exercise, but your hamstrings might be sore, your glutes might be sore from that hinge position. So coming in the next day, let's say we have a movement like deadlifts, I would recommend going to something a little bit lighter than maybe your heaviest trap bar deadlift. We want to avoid that. Maybe we should stick with just the kettlebell for the day and go through the movement patterns, work on our hip hinges, and it's a really good opportunity for you to work on your movement patterns. You're still going to get a great workout. You're still going to go keep your body in a position that we're reaching towards our goals, and it's going to help you with your consistency. You'll also notice that the more that you put your body through, the more it's going to adapt over time. But like I said, you want to make sure that you're going smart about it, not coming in that second day expecting to perform at top level at 100%. I think a big thing with this as well is in that second or third session, whenever you are feeling sore, know that maybe some of our extra movements where we have you doing farmer carries, where we have you doing today, such as a goblet toe walk, maybe we should do more of a corrective exercise for that and focus on mobility and stretching. If your hips are super tight, things like your 90-90 hip twisters, all of the correctives that we have in here are going to help your body feel better rather than worse. A lot of those are actually programmed for active rest so that whenever you're going through the sets, we don't have you just resting for 30 to 60 seconds. We still have your heart rate up and moving. That's kind of like our reasoning behind the fast and loose and a lot of those correctives that you see with here. So to mitigate the pain and the stiffness, one of the best options that I have is foam rolling. I think any sort of myofascial release, if you look at the research from all of those topics, the biggest benefit of foam rolling is that you have temporary mobility and flexibility. So for things like if we have really tight hamstrings and glutes from deadlifts or any sort of hip hinge the day before, coming in and foam rolling those hamstrings and glutes is going to allow you to do things like touch your toes easier, at least for the next 30 to 60 minutes. So maybe if we're going into a deadlift and you're feeling super tight and it's hard to get low and touch your toes for the day, that's going to allow you to go through that movement a lot safer. So long story short, I definitely think that it's okay to exercise multiple days in a row, even if you are feeling sore. Over time, your body's going to get used to that intensity and it's going to start to adapt to it, making you stronger and getting you closer to your goals. But then on the other end, you're going to feel better than if you just took the day off and sat still. If you think about how you feel whenever you wake up the next morning, usually you get out of bed and you're feeling really stiff and it's kind of, you have to move around a little bit. Within an hour of walking around, going through your daily activities, you typically feel a lot better and a lot looser. So yes, come in, work out multiple days in a row, try to avoid going over 3 days in a row. Make sure that you're prioritizing recovery. And then on the other end of things, make sure that our nutrition and our sleep is in check as well. It's really hard to recover and feel better if you're not letting your body repair itself. So going on to Sarah's question. So Sarah, remind me, because I don't have it written down exactly what your question was. And I think we're muted right now, sorry.
Thank you. I guess my question was, is it possible to build muscle and lose fat at the same time? What's the best way to approach that? Or should I prioritize one over the other? Um, yeah, the idea of like calorie deficit versus calorie surplus in order to gain muscle. Just
Okay.
a lot of questions surrounding that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's probably one of the most common questions in the gym. Most people that speak with us, and especially most of our members at Bent on Better, they understand how important strength is. So from like a health and longevity standpoint, getting stronger is going to check off every box, whether it's moving better throughout your day, just feeling better in general, living longer, being able to do activities daily. But then on the other end, it's going to help you out with losing body fat. It's going to help you with defining your body and your muscles, looking better aesthetically in the mirror. So I think that it's important to focus on strength, but like you said, losing body fat's all is a very common goal as well. I actually think that strength training is hands down the best route to losing body fat. And having one of these InBody tests in front of you can really explain that better. But as you look through the InBody, we focus on a couple different numbers. And one of the first things that we talk about is skeletal muscle mass. So whenever you look at skeletal muscle mass, I like to compare the human body to a car. And you don't have to know a lot about cars to understand this, but think about a car like a Ferrari compared to a Honda Civic. The Ferrari usually performs a lot. It's a much faster car. It performs a lot better than the Honda Civic. And there's a reason for that. It has a much stronger engine. Now, the human body, our engine is our muscles. So that Ferrari, this is where you have to know a little bit about cars, but it goes through a lot more gas than a Honda Civic does. I believe a Ferrari has under 10 miles to the gallon, where a Honda Civic gets above 30. So to perform at that level that the Ferrari is, it needs a lot more energy and gas to go through that day. Now, our gas and our energy in the human body is calories. So if you look at the performance of that engine, that would be our metabolism. The Ferrari has a really fast metabolism. It burns through gas a lot faster than the Honda Civic. So you're going to need to fill up that Ferrari with a lot more gas if you want to travel at the same rate. So with the human body, the more muscle that we have, the more calories that our body's going to require to just maintain that level of performance. Just even daily activities like walking, repairing your muscles, digesting your food, your body's going to require a lot more energy to supply that muscle. So where I'm getting at with this, if our goal is to get stronger and stronger and stronger in the gym, not only are we going to feel amazing because we're more capable of doing things, but you're going to turn your body into, think of it like a furnace that's just burning through more and more energy. So if you have a specific diet where you're consuming X amount of calories today, let's say 4 to 6 weeks from now, we add a few pounds of muscle on, your body's going to then require more energy than it did in today. So if we're keeping the same nutrition plan, eating the same amount of calories with more muscle on our body, you're going to notice that your body's going to go into more of a deficit compared to what you were in today. Does that make sense? And
Yeah,
I can
and
explain it
when
different.
that happens, no, that makes sense. But when that happens, should I like are is it best to increase your calorie intake at that point or stay at the calorie intake you were at so that way you're burning fat, but then are you not fueling your body appropriately for it to perform?
So to a certain extent, now the rate of that muscle growth typically doesn't go so quickly that you're going to have to make drastic changes to your diet. Now, over time, you definitely are going to notice that if you're seeing good results, gaining that muscle, you're probably going to notice that you're performing better and pushing it a little bit more in your workouts as well, because you're capable of handling more intensity. So at that point, you might have the conversation with yourself, should I be consuming more energy so that I can keep performing at a better rate? And I
Okay.
think it also kind of ties into your second question, what should my priority be? at the point where you start to notice those changes and you're seeing that you're getting stronger and stronger, this is also, so I'm going to try not to rant too much here, but one thing that I like to focus on is how I feel and what I'm doing in the gym. So the InBody is a great tool. I think the numbers show you the direction that we're going in and they can hold you accountable to that. But one thing I like to stress about InBodies is they don't tell the whole story. So if your body is handling heavier and heavier weights week by week, just know that that's not magically happening. You can't stack bricks on top of a small stick and expect that stick to just hold its stress. That stick has to grow bigger and stronger in order to support that weight. So the more that we're doing in there and growing in the gym, I'm pointing over there like you guys are in the gym with me, but the more that we're doing in the gym, the stronger your body's foundation and frame is going to be. And that's just kind of a given as we progress through this, progress through your workouts. Now, whenever you start to see those changes, like I was saying, you can have the conversation with yourself. Do I like where the direction that I'm going, where I'm losing body fat and I might be seeing changes in the mirror, I'm seeing changes on the scale, or would I rather focus on continuing to get stronger and stronger and stronger? Not to say that you can't do both, but if your goal is to focus more on strength, then let's really prioritize increasing those weights with good form and supply ourselves nutritionally. Maybe you're going to increase your total calories throughout the day. And that's where we can have a deeper conversation on what you specifically need. But on the other end, you can keep yourself at the same total calories per day. And you're going to notice that you might still be building up strength as we go through our workouts, but your priority is going to be more at fat loss at that point. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I definitely think that it's 100% possible to lose body fat and gain strength at the same time and lean muscle mass. I think where a lot of that like preconceived notion comes that you can is there's, for the past 20, 30 years, been so much talk about bulking and cutting in the fitness world that I think that kind of put that idea in a lot of people's heads, but definitely. Okay. So now going on to Jill's question. So this one was actually really good for a lot of challengers. How do I log my activity into the app? So I am not on my phone right now, so I can't show you a screen recording, but I'm going to try my best to show you off of the screen off of this, and then I'll explain as I go through it. So whenever you are in your home screen, I'm going to switch over to a client so you can see. So whenever you're in a home screen of your Bent on Better app, right down here, there's this little plus symbol. And that's essentially how you log any sort of activity, any meals, any daily habits that you're looking to do. So we click on that little plus button and you'll see a list of different things. You'll see workout, you'll see activity, meals, appointments, photos, and then body stats. So if we're looking to add a workout, simply click that workout and you're going to see a list of different programs. Now, if we're in the gym, if we're doing a virtual program, you'll see one listed for each of those. And then depending on which day of the week we're on, let's say it's day A, you'll click on to workout day A, and it's going to bring the list of that up for you. Now,
okay, so I did that and it looks like this. Is that what it's supposed to look like?
Yes. So let's go ahead and click on day A. Now, as you go through that, you're going to see your foam rolling exercises. You're going to see our rest sets. Then you're going to see we're going to get down into our main movements where it says superset of 4 sets. And we have each of our sections there. Now, we can add this workout to today. You'll see that there's going to be a start now button. Whenever we start the workout, we click that. And as we go through the exercises, you're able to input the amount of reps that you were able to complete. So for days like today, we're 6 to 8 reps. If you were trying for something a little bit heavier, getting ambitious and weren't able to get all 8 reps, you'll put 6 there so that we know next week, let's attempt the same weight and see if we can get 8 reps out of it. That way we can keep progressively overloading ourselves and pushing week to week. You can also enter the amount of weight that you're using so that we can keep track of that as well.
Okay.
We'll go through each one of those.
So I could do that for yesterday.
Yeah, so you can go through today at some
I can
point.
go in and
Go
then
ahead.
just change it to yesterday.
Yep. And if you're the type of person that doesn't like logging your weights and being on your phone whenever you're in the middle of a workout, that's personally how I am. I will look at the max weights that I use throughout the day. So maybe I'll pay attention to the weight that I started with for my first set because it's typically a little bit lighter. I'll look at what I eventually worked up to, and I'll record those two weights. Next week, whenever I come in, I know where I should be starting. I know what my goal is for the day, and I know where I should push it if I want to try and go a little bit heavier.
Okay.
Okay. Then at the very end of the workout, we'll click save and it's going to be logged in so that you can look at it anytime you need.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. I do have another question related to what you were talking about first.
Yeah.
So all of those things you said about how many times a week and if you're sore and doing the exercising and all, is it different for somebody who's 20 and somebody who's 64 like me?
So one of my favorite professors in college, he actually had a really deep discussion with us about this, and I'm very passionate about training more and more the older that we get. I think if you look at all of the research that science shows us about the abilities that our body loses as we get older, our hormone production goes down at a certain age. You start to see a higher rate of loss of skeletal muscle mass. You see your bone mineral density go down as you age, and it's a certain percentage each year. So I have the genuine philosophy that as those things are happening, we need to be proactive and work against them. I think that a 20-year-old probably doesn't need as much activity as a 60 or 70-year-old does. So I don't think that that activity should necessarily be as intense. I don't think that senior citizens should necessarily be aiming to do what they once were in their 20s from a resistance or intensity standpoint. But I do think that their frequency of workouts per week should probably increase if they're looking to focus on longevity and be capable of doing the daily activities that they've always been able to do their whole life and continuing. So it's no secret that as we age, our body starts to, we're not as smooth as we once were. Our joints are a little bit more rigid. We've been through a lot more wear and tear over our years. But just simply kind of like we were talking about, if we're feeling sore one day, motion is lotion. The more that we let that body experience that specific movement pattern, the more comfortable it's going to get with it. Just from a general standpoint, practice makes perfect. And that, yeah, so my general philosophy is really the older that you get, the more that we should be doing. It's just important as we get older that we don't ignore the things that our body is trying to tell us. If we're feeling pain in a certain area, if we feel a strained muscle, it's important to address that and not just kind of ignore it and put it to the side and hope for the best, because the quicker we can recover, the more your body's going to be able to progress.
So my piriformis muscle that's been bothering me for months
Yeah.
and not getting better. So I was taking a break to see if resting would help. It didn't do a thing.
Yep.
And now I'm trying to work out again. And yesterday it was killing me the whole time. So I just don't know what to do.
So we can talk a little bit deeper, but at that point, have you seen like a physical therapist for that or anything?
No, I did go to the doctor.
Okay.
Really, she just gave me the same exercises that you did and said if it doesn't go away, I can go to an orthopedic, but I don't think it's orthopedic related. I think it's muscular.
So, and that's where I think getting second opinions is always a good idea. I'm not sure what physical therapist you went to, but I can message you privately and we can talk about that. But we have a really good physical therapist that we refer a lot of our patients to. I'm sure Nick's probably mentioned her to you before, but
I think so, yeah.
But yeah, we can talk about that. I've personally been to a physical therapist when I had knee pain in the past, and their solution was for me to stop squatting. And I told them I'm a personal trainer, so
Can't.
it's going to be kind of hard for me. And I went to another physical therapist, gave me a much better diagnosis and a route to recovery. Within 2 months of working with that physical therapist, my knee was at 100%. So I think it really does matter who you go to and who you speak with, to make sure that they understand what you're looking to do. But
Okay.
like I said, I'll follow up with you and give you more details on who I would recommend.
Okay, thank
Okay.
you.
But with injuries like that, it's really important that we address those, because kind of like you said, it's probably over the past few months gotten not better, worse and worse. And by now, if we would have solved the injury, you could be performing at the level that you want to.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Now, that is all the questions that I have for today right now. Do you guys have anything else that you want to go over? If not, that's all good.
What day is it today? What workout day?
Today
Is it D-Day?
Today is Wednesday. I'm not sure of the day of the week that it exactly is. Let me hop out real quick and check for you. The screen.
Okay.
Today is day D.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
All right. So if you're able to come in a little bit early, let's get that InBody done.
Okay.
Are you signed up for the
And then,
4th?
yeah, 4:30. And then it's what, don't eat for 3 hours, hydrated.
Yeah, so typically with InBodies, we want to avoid caffeine, any food, really any sort of stimulant just for 3 hours before you come in, and keep yourself hydrated. You want to have like you don't want to be overly hydrated for that. You want to have like a slight yellow tint to your urine whenever you go on those, but
Okay.
just makes it more accurate.
Okay. All
Okay,
right. Sounds good. Yeah, I ate lunch, finished at 1. That way I'd be good to go for like 4
perfect.
in body. So
So I'll see you at 4:30, and then Jill, I will see you tomorrow, correct? Perfect. And Nisha, I saw that you just hopped on. How's it going?
Good. I was planning to log in at 1:15, but unfortunately I had a meeting. So
Yeah,
couldn't
problem at
make it
all.
and it just got done. So
I'm glad you.
yeah, it's my first time after joining the challenge.
Okay, well, we're glad to have you in. I'm glad you could pop in. So we just went over a couple different questions, and I recorded this whole call. So I'm going to post it into our group so everybody can view it if they had any of the
Oh,
same
great.
questions, and look over it. Now, we have about 5 minutes left on the call. So is there anything that you specifically wanted to go over today?
So I saw that in the app, there's a place where we log in everything. And is there anything else that I need to do?
Yep.
That's all. I just continue my goal, like my daily goal.
Yep. So we'll add in a daily habit for you, so that you can start something that's in line with what your goals are. So specifically, whatever you're looking to focus on, just throwing random examples out there. Let's say that we're looking to increase our activity outside of the gym, then maybe our daily habit would be walking for 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay.
Maybe if we're looking to focus on nutrition a little bit more, it would be incorporating protein into every one of our meals. It could be,
Okay.
if we're looking to hydrate more, waking up and drinking 8 ounces of fluids before we start our day. Little things like
Okay.
that, and I can help you out with that as well.
And then you said you will add that, right?
Yep, so we can add that in.
change.
You're also able to add those in yourself.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll have you add it. Yeah.
okay. When are you going to be in next?
Hopefully today. I just have to figure out my schedule. I don't have a plan for that yet.
Okay, so if you make it in today, we can definitely help you out with that, okay?
Okay. Yeah. And I also haven't done my InBody.
Okay, we'll get you set up with one of those as well. Now,
Okay.
If you actually look at this call, like the recording afterwards, I go
Okay.
in detail showing the screen of how to add on your workouts, how to add in activities and those daily habits as well, okay?
Okay, I will do that.
Okay. So we like I said, we still have a couple more minutes here. Do you guys have anything else that you want to cover today?
So, well, what time do we usually have it, from 1:15 to 1:45?
Yep, so these calls will be from 30 minutes, from 1:15 to
Okay.
45.
Yeah,
And we'll have them every Wednesday. And if you can't make it, I'll record all of them and post it to the group just so you can check it out afterwards.
thank you.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, if we don't have any other questions, I'm gonna go ahead and end the call, and then I'll post this up so everybody can look over it, okay?
Cool.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, thank
Thanks, Bobby.
you.
All right, have a nice day, guys. Let's keep pushing in this.
Thanks. Thank you, you too.
Okay, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.